Angry guy here, and foreign women are demanding that men don't compare them to the disgraced modern woman. Guys, if you have a topic request and there's a video you want me to discuss, to request a topic for a video, see the description below. And please note, I apologize. I had the wrong email address in my description. So if you are sending me an email, I never got it. I'm updating all the new videos with that email address. My correct email address is actually angrymgtow at gmail.com. It's angrymgtow at gmail.com. You can see it right here on the screen. Okay, so if you previously sent me an email and I did not respond to it, or it got returned, the reason why is because the wrong email address was in there. The correct email address is angrymgtow at gmail.com. Please send your email address to that. Please send your email to that address and I will respond to you guys and get you a video. All right, so anyway, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into the top. A comment from our favorite pediatrician, Mayumi, in response to one of my videos where I was discussing how a lot of women are now in the streets. You know, you can take the girl out of the streets, but you can't take the streets out of the girl. And she had a response to this. She said that this is why my daughters and son will be going to school overseas in the home country, that being Japan. I hope as regular here, I'm not viewed as someone who desires the streets as a pediatrician and a mother. I'm at the point in my life where I will stand away from Western women and some of my own culture who do hookups in Tokyo. Oh boy. I earned my way into my life, and my only desire is to grow old with my beloved husband like how my mother and father are today. Sometime next week, me and my husband's channel is going to show our world and how we enjoy culture and hobbies. That's so awesome. I can't wait to see your channel go online. I will give you guys a shout out. Just let me know. I never usually disagree with you, angry guy, but don't want to be in the same category. So I guess she's saying, I don't want to be in the same category as the women who will betray their family and relationships at the drop of a hat. I am not ever going to be in that category as long as I have children to raise and duties to my practice. I love my husband and I will stand for breaking my vows to him. So I think she means I will not stand for breaking my vows to him. And I responded to her by saying, even if I don't believe you, I'm absolutely rooting for you that you'll stand by your words and spend the rest of your life as a good wife and mother and away from the streets. She responded, I just can't imagine betraying my family and my heritage. Something very intriguing about this, guys. And it's something that a lot of women don't consider because even women themselves don't know why they do the things that they do. They often struggle with it, saying, why do I do the things that I do? While I strongly hope that Mayumi is able to stay away from the streets, something very interesting, I should say. So, you know, I was watching Fresh and Fit, and they were talking about something quite intriguing. They were talking about these sugar baby platforms, and they were talking about the kinds of women that are on these sugar baby platforms. Now, you would think that it would be young women who are attractive. You know, they may not be very wealthy, but you know, it's their wealth, their value comes from their youth, their looks, and so forth. But surprisingly, on these very expensive sugar baby platforms where, you know, you have women looking for very wealthy men, a lot of the women on these platforms are actually very wealthy women, women who are doctors, women who are lawyers, women who are engineers, women who are CEOs, women who have significant amounts of wealth of their own. These are the women that you find on this platform. Because no matter how wealthy a woman is, she will always want someone who is better than her, someone who is richer than her, someone who has more influence than her. She will always someone that has more than her and that can give her more than she can give to herself, even if she can already do a substantial amount for herself. It's a crazy reality that we live in, but it's the reality that we live in. Over the years, I've had guys on my channel. I remember a story from one guy who told me about how his sisters, he had two sisters, and these two sisters, or at least these specific two sisters, both basically ended up being a complete washouts. And they literally, both sisters brought their children, dropped their children off on his doorstep, and took off. One of them was a doctor, former doctor. She washed out of medicine. She brought her children to his house, dropped them off, and dipped. And he was pretty upset about it. So here's what ended up happening. Basically, he had family that lived next door. So the girls, basically, I don't know if it was like aunts or something. So the girls are being raised by the aunts, and he's raising the boys. And he says that no one is allowed in his house. Like, the women, they're not allowed to, basically stay there. And it's basically a space where he's going to be raising those boys into men. But this is the reality of it. It doesn't matter if she's a doctor. It doesn't matter who she is, okay? Because you can take the girl out of the streets, but you cannot take the streets out of the girl. And it's kind of interesting that Mayumi said what she said at the end, where she said, I just can't imagine betraying my family and my heritage. But the thing is that you have to understand, this is why we say, a foreign woman, it's not that a foreign woman is better than a woman from Western society. It's just that she is culturally different and we get better utility from her. But women are women no matter what. They all have that same female nature. And most women don't often know the reason why they make decisions that they make. There are so many women who have done terrible things. And when asked, why did you do this? They'll go, I don't even know why I did it. And it's because a woman is always desiring more. She's always desiring a flurry of emotions, both positive and negative. That's the only way she will be happy. Because you have to understand that both positive and negative emotions are positive for a woman. She enjoys both of them. There's no such thing as negative attention for a woman. Okay? All attention is a currency for a woman. So both good and bad attention is still attention. This is how women operate. This is their internal locus. So many women may say that I could never imagine that I would break up my family, that I would walk out on my husband, leave my children, or, do these things. Most women will tell you at the start of their marriage, they could never have imagined doing this. All right. And then fast forward 20 years later, they say to themselves, after they've been single, they're now single. They've ruined their families. They've broken up everything. Those men have moved on and started new lives without them. And now they're lonely. Their finances are degrading, and they're wondering, how did they do this? They're sitting there saying, I can't believe I did this. It's the honest to goodness truth. Now, for Mayumi, I absolutely hope that, guys, the way I think is like this. I expect the worst and I hope for the best. That's how I look at life. When speaking to a woman, I assume that everything is a lie, and then I'd look for truth in the lies. That's how I operate. I operate from I start at a pessimistic place and then look for optimism in the pessimism, if that makes any sense. Because we live in a very dark world, and you cannot have the wool pulled over your eyes. Most women, and the thing is, I've heard stories like this where a woman will say that she had no choice but to leave. Guys, girl math is insane. Girl math is absolutely insane. Okay. Women using girl math will rationalize, a woman will rationalize spending $3,000 because by spending $3,000 on a pair of shoes, right? She spent $3,000 on a pair of shoes, but she used those pair of shoes to go to a special event where she was able to meet a guy who was very influential. And by meeting this influential guy, that resulted in her being able to get a new job or something or whatever. So the shoes were absolutely worth the $3,000. And that's not even the best example. Like, they will find the most insane ways to explain the most ridiculous things. Girl math, and when you consider that, you have to understand that women do not operate on the same logic that men do. And if they try to convince you that they do, that's where I worry, because women don't want men to understand the way that women think. Because if men understood the way that women thought, then men would continuously lose attraction. Because it's like Imagine, like, seeing a lion and understanding that this lion just wants to devour you. Increasingly you're going to say, yeah, I don't want to pet this lion, because, for example, for the average person that doesn't know that lions are ferocious, they're going to see a big cat, and they're going to say, okay, oh, it's a big kitty cat, I just want to pet the kitty cat. But once you understand just how ferocious lions are, and that lions and and uh, and a house cat are not the exact same, then you realize, okay, I mess with this lion is going to delete me and eat me. All right. So now you're not going to be attracted to the lion anymore. You're going to be fearful of the lion. And that's the exact same thing that happens with men in Western society. Once they begin to understand women, all right, they lose attraction, and then they become fearful or indifferent, because once they start to understand them, female nature, the way they think, the way they operate, their internal world. Once they start to realize that, guys, I describe it as functional insanity. Okay, and any woman who is being honest will say, yeah, that's about it. Okay, because once you comprehend how they operate and how they think, and a lot of women don't, no matter what they say, and I truly believe this, a lot of women are shocked when the day comes sometimes, and I don't know. They act shocked when the day comes where suddenly they decide that they cannot be in their marriage anymore, they cannot be in this relationship anymore, and they just switch it up just like that, even if they have everything. It's not good enough. And they walk out, they destroy their families, and then they don't know why they did it later on. Because they know why they did it. They did it because they thought they were better than them. They thought that they were too good, that they had extended to a point where they needed more, they wanted more, they deserved more, when in reality, it was just the streets calling out to them. Look at Tia Mowry. She was simply bored in her marriage. She left a damn good man, and she said it, for the streets. And now she's crying all over television, miserable, hollering, and other women are like calling her out on social media, and she's lashing out at them at 5 a.m. in the morning. Like, she can't even sleep anymore. She can't even sleep anymore because she doesn't have her husband next to her. Oh, that shit. Yeah. A lot of women don't even think about the logistics of this. They forget about the protection that they feel having a man around. And when that guy is gone and they cannot replace him, and old Chad and Tyrone aren't going to stick around, now she's alone. And that feeling it's terror. It's a feeling of extraordinary fear. It's a feeling of extraordinary terror when she no longer has that safety net, and it's not coming back. And as she gets older, the number of beta male orbiters continues to decline until she's all alone. And those are the consequences for the streets, and I really don't feel bad for them. She chose the streets, so let her enjoy her time on the streets. That's what she wanted. So congratulations, lady, you got what you wanted. But in the case of Mayumi, I'm definitely rooting for her. While I may not have faith in her, I'm hoping for the best for her. And it's just because of my experiences and the fact that I don't believe that any woman at this point, period, can you can really expect, anything long term from them. And the reason why I say that is because, it was, she was never yours. It was just your turn, and those days, those women that were around 100 years ago, 200 years ago, that could actually remain wives and mothers. Most of those women are gone now. Those women are all gone now. They are all gone now. This is a whole entirely new generation of women. While I think Mayumi is a good person, yeah, at the end of the day, she's still not a traditional woman. None of these women are traditional women. She may have traditional values, but she is still not a traditional woman. And it's just how it is. But like I said, I expect the worst. I hope for the best. It's really none of my business anyway. But good luck to her on that. Foreign women are now demanding that men don't compare them to disgraced modern women. What do you guys think regarding that? I want to hear your thoughts on that. Let's talk about it in the comments. All right. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.